This week on LTC News, breaking ground downtown, a race over the streets, mud and water, and sipping wine with the sun. Stay with us. Welcome back to LTC News, the only local news program that wants to hear from you. If you have a story, comment, or questions, email us at ltcn@ltc.org, because without you, there is no LTCN. It was quite a momentous occasion for Lowell last Thursday on September 22nd when Governor Charlie Baker, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, and other local and state dignitaries came to participate in the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Lowell Justice Center. The modern, multi-story building overlooking the Hamilton Canal will be energy efficient with an expected LEED Platinum rating. The center will be able to consolidate the functions of 3 old buildings in town.
First off, this center replaces a set of buildings that frankly had exhausted their lives decades ago. We've been holding these buildings together with rubber bands and bubble gum for far too long. And at long last, Lowell will have a regional justice center that actually allows the delivery of justice with dignity and speed. So this courthouse is an anchor. This courthouse isn't just going to serve the citizens of Lowell providing justice. It's going to serve the economic development of this city as it serves to anchor this region for development all around. That is a powerful impact for the economic development of the entire city.
The state doesn't just need to think there's a need or an opportunity here. You need to have a collection of folks who are going to be on the same page, who are going to find a way to work together and get to yes to do something on behalf of their community and their constituents. And I've said this before about Lowell. The people who worry about stuff like this in Lowell, city councilors, state reps, community activists, local businesses, the people who play in the criminal justice system, they actually like each other, they know how to work together, and they know how to get something done. And that in many respects has as much to do with why we're breaking ground here today as the hard work that Senator Donahue and Representative Nagel and Representative Golden and others have done advocating for this project.
And what this Justice Center is economic development, because all of you, when you come to work here, will need to maybe visit a restaurant, procure a good or a service somewhere along the route, and you'll visit and experience the city a little bit more. And it also just lays a marker that, Lowell is on the map. Lowell is a very good place to do business and a very good place to visit.
This is, as has been said, long awaited. And what, my mother and father used to say, anything worth having is worth waiting for. And that's true. This is a magnificent courthouse. Mo has done an exemplary job designing this. And I know we don't have time to go into the detail, but you will all be amazed at how beautiful and functional this courthouse is going to be.
The Lowell City Council and the City Administration have targeted the Hamilton Canal District as a primary location for economic development, and the construction of a new 7-story Justice Center will hopefully be followed by other construction projects in the near future. I know that we are all anxious to put the shovels in the ground and begin what will be a 36-month construction period.
The $200 million project is expected to be open for business by 2020. And now, let's go to Brian Dorrington, LTC Director of Municipal Programming, for his City Hall synopsis.
Hello and welcome to the City Council synopsis for the meeting of September 27th, 2016. It was a jam-packed meeting, and it will be impossible for me to give an adequate summary in 3.5 minutes, but I will channel my inner Ethan Hunt and attempt to turn the impossible into the improbable.
Hasta la vista, baby.
like that time we turned an animated Elvis into a cute little kitten. Close enough. I'll start with an update on two topics I've been talking about for a few weeks now. There was a public hearing on salary increases for the City Council, Mayor, and the School Committee, and another public hearing on increasing the number of signatures required to be on the ballot from 50 to 150. Both ordinances passed with Councillor Elliott being the only councillor to vote against both measures. He does not believe candidates run for the City Council because of the money. And while he agrees with the sentiment behind increasing the number of signatures from 50 to 150, he does not believe it will actually work to prevent candidates who aren't serious from getting on the ballot, which is, of course, the ordinance intention. You know what, can I get a new microphone? I think this one has a cold or something. Okay, much better. Representatives from Skanska and Parkman's Eastman, the engineers and architects for Lowell High School building project, addressed the council and made it clear that they need help from you. Currently, the project is undergoing a feasibility study and is looking for community input. If you have some ideas and want your voice to be heard on your new high school, call the city manager's office at the number below. The feasibility study is intended to determine the location of the new high school and decide whether it's better to build on a new site or to redevelop the current high school at its current site. As of now, no specific sites have been named. Michael O'Brien and Larry Curtis of Wind Development gave a presentation on the status of the Hamilton Canal District Master Plan. There was a lot of ground covered in the presentation, and I implore you to watch the presentation in its entirety by visiting LTC.org's on-demand page. Much of the discussion in the presentation focused on housing, as O'Brien revealed that the residential construction will be the first phase in the development. Some of the councilors made it known that they would like to see all market rate housing to ensure that new residents have the disposable income needed to invest back into the city. O'Brien, however, informed the council that there is a significant funding gap in these large-scale residential projects. In order for a project like this to work, they would need to take advantages of available subsidies. For that to work, they would need what is called a 80-20 split, meaning 80% of the housing would be market rate and the other 20% would be what's called workforce housing. Now, workforce housing is designed to provide affordable rental units for middle-income families. Those families who have too high of a salary to qualify for subsidized housing, but who still can't afford market rate rents. Steve Pangiotakis of Wind Developments, sorry if I butchered that name, said the workforce housing is typically giving to young people who are just starting their careers like teaching, law enforcement, and nursing. There was an amazing presentation given by Middlesex Community College President Dr. James Marbury early in the night at the Education Partnership Subcommittee meeting. I don't have the time to synopsize that, but I will encourage you to watch the entire subcommittee meeting on demand at ltc.org. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Back to you, Al.
If you were downtown or at the Tsongas Center or on Pawtucket Boulevard on Saturday, September 24th, you would have seen great crowds of people cheering on participants of Lowell's first kinetic sculpture race. Teams from Lowell and around the country came together to race their wildly imaginative pedal-powered vehicles through a mud pit, over the Merrimack River, and across the finish line downtown.
This is absolutely exciting. There's a lot of energy down here, some zany things going on behind us, but I'll tell you what, pretty exciting place to be, the city of Lowell, nowhere else.
We're here at the Tsongas Center at the maddening mud pit. It looks like the racers are just about to make their way through.
How's it going so far, Mayor?
I think it's going great. This is a great day for Lowell, and this is a great event. This is the type of event that we need more of, but this event, I think everybody's interested in growing this event to make it be even bigger next year, and it should be an annual event.
comes the iconic flying fish. We want to make sure that they don't have the same difficulty they did at the maddening mud pit. They're coming in strong. They're getting the push. He's a little wobbly, and he's going right in. He's now got those paddles. He's pushing the wheels with his feet. I'm here with one of the other organizers of the Lowell Kinetic Sculpture Race, Michael Roundy. How do you feel looking around you with all of this?
I'm overwhelmed. I'm amazed. There's so many people that came out today, and I'm really proud and happy about it. I mean, it's amazing, and it's nice to see so many people as enthusiastic about kinetics as I am.
LTC here at the finish line, and we have the judges coming first through on a Jeep, which is not a vehicle that's actually participating in the race, but they are coming through right now, lording over their kingdom. And we have Cheetah coming first. Race, and I'm here with one of the organizers, Bianca Moreau. Bianca.
I couldn't be happier, Al.
Everywhere we've gone so far today, people have said this is an absolute smashing success. How do you feel?
I can't stop smiling. This is permanent.
Yeah.
This is permanent. I cannot stop smiling, and the feedback we've received so far has been so amazing, and I'm overjoyed, and I can't believe how many people I have seen out here today.
For a complete list of award winners, visit lowellkinetic.com. LTC is putting together a full-length feature program on the race, so make sure you keep checking on our Facebook page for airtimes. The Pollard Memorial Library figured prominently in the life of native son Jack Kerouac. Kerouac is one of the country's best-known beat writers, but as a teenager in Lowell, he used to skip school, sneaking away to the library to read all of the classics. Let's join Deb Belanger at the library, where she gives us the rundown on the annual Lowell Celebrates Kerouac Festival.
Good afternoon and welcome to Let's Go with the Greater Merrimack Valley Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'm your host, Deb Belanger. Today we are outside the beautiful Pollard Memorial Library. This is one of the many locations that Lowell Celebrates Kerouac Festival will be taking place. The festival is October 5th through the 10th. This is a 5-day festival and will have a lot of activities throughout the city of Lowell. And we're dedicating this festival to the Story of Paris, which Jack wrote a very long time ago. In addition to a marathon reading of the Story of Paris at the Pollard Memorial Library, we are going to have one of our famous pub crawl tours, and that's going to be taking place at the Worthen House, and we'll go through many of the city's establishments. We're going to have some prose and poetry. This is going to be a competition that is going to take place at Jack's alma mater, Lowell High School. And new this year is a tour called Haunts and Hookies. This will take place at the Pollard Memorial Library. So for all of you Kerouac fans, please join us October 6th through 10th in downtown Lowell. For more information, please go to my website, merrimackvalley.org. And until next time, happy travels.
If you're a fan of the game show Press Your Luck, you have a chance to sit in on a taping of that show on Saturday at 7 p.m. on October 1st at Western Ave Studios. The event will be selling tickets for charity to benefit families who are struggling with HIV and AIDS. Prizes will include a round trip from Boston to Portland, Maine, and gift certificates from stores and restaurants will be given away. Make sure to bring a friend and be a part of the action. For more information, go to bigbucksentertainment.com. Now, if you read the Lowell Sun, you know that editor Jim Campanini is sort of a wine aficionado. He's also a fan of finding interesting people who live in and around Lowell. So in this week's Sunspot, Jim has a backyard chat with Lowell resident Craig Gandolf, who is the USA Director of Wines for Jorge Ordóñez Selections of Spain, one of the largest wineries in that country of great wines.
I'm a wine novice, but today, as my guest, we're going to do something different. I actually have a wine expert with me, and he lives right here in Lowell. I want to introduce you to Craig Gandolf. Craig, welcome to the show.
How are you? Thank you for inviting me.
And Craig has lived in Lowell for 14 years, but he's also been the wine director for the Jorge Ordóñez Selections Wines of Spain. That's Jorge Ordóñez Selections Wines of Spain. He's been the wine director for the entire United States for 19 years. That's pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I wish I was a wine director someplace.
Be careful of what you wish for.
You know, in this business, there are a lot of expert wine experts who do reviews, and some of them they're professional reviewers. And one of the best in the business, if not the best, Robert Parker, he can push the market. Let me tell you,
He does, believe me.
and he came out with some great preliminary reviews, and then they were followed up with outstanding reviews also on the Ordóñez Selection wines. And Craig has been now as one of the leading persons in the company. He was willing to share these wines and why they are so spectacular. The thing that really got me and why I really wanted to talk to Craig, not only because he's a great guy, a great Lowellian, but these are value-oriented wines. I mean, they're spectacular, and they're in local stores right now, where Craig will tell us some places they are. So Craig, I don't want to monopolize this, but we're going to go around and go through all these 5 wines. So just tell us briefly, what gives these wines their character and distinction?
Ooh, I think.
Is it the location?
I think any great wine starts in the vineyard, and you can't have great wine unless you have a great vineyard. And that's something that Jorge Ordóñez has been sourcing for the last 20, 25 years. We're looking for vineyards that are old vine vineyards. We're looking for vineyards in high altitude locations, generally mountainside locations where the vines are stressed to the maximum. But that's where a great wine starts, is in the vineyard. And then you take the grapes from there, handle them with a tremendous amount of care, don't manipulate them too much, and make the best wine you can possibly make. But it has to be reflective of the vineyards that it comes from.
I'm Jim Campanini, here with Craig Gandolf, and right now we're going to get into some of the distinctive red wines that Craig has brought over to present. As I want to tell our viewers out there, like I do with my readers in my column, notice we have water, okay? When you do a wine tasting, you just sip the wine and you pour the rest out, you know, because as these experts do it, you know, they might taste 20 wines sometimes in one sitting. And I always urge my readers, you know, to drink plenty of water as you go through the tastings. Yes. So Craig, our first wine, why don't you give us...
All right. The first wine is called Breca, and it comes from an area of Spain called Calatayud, which is in the northeast central mountain range of Spain, probably about 2 hours east of, 2 hours west of Barcelona, 2 hours east of Madrid, so in the central plateau area. The average elevation is very, very important because these vineyards are anywhere from 2,900 to 3,300 feet in elevation. So it gets very, very cold in the wintertime. It gets very warm in the summertime, but also during the summertime nights, it gets very cool as well because it's a high, arid desert area.
Beautiful label. I like that golden blood. Does Breca mean anything in particular?
Breca is a corruption of the name of the village where it's located.
The grape?
The grape is 100% Grenache. They're all old vines, so the youngest vine would be 60 years old, and the oldest vines would be about 120 years old. And when we talk about old vines, we're talking about the grapes having much more concentration than they would have in a younger vine. Each vine produces less clusters, and the fewer clusters that it produces, the more concentration of flavors up in the glass.
Okay, so let's have a taste.
That's why it's important to use a good sized glass rather than something that's small. It's a very, very versatile wine. It'll go with red meats, it'll go with pork, it goes with chicken, and you can have it with full flavored fish such as tuna.
I like it's got a great color. Look at that. If you can see that purple color, fresh. It's fresh. It's got a grippy. The tannins are nice, but
we call them plush.
Plush, yes.
Plush.
And the spiciness of it is beautiful, overwhelming. I mean, this is. I'd go to this for nice grilled meats, steak, and even burgers, right?
Yes.
The burgers,
I
ribs.
use it a lot during the summertime with burgers and patio food, and also during the winter with stews and roasts. So, as I said, it's very, very versatile.
But that peppery flavor at the end, that is
an extraordinary wine.
We're
We're extremely proud of this, and we're extremely proud that we can bring it to you for about $16 retail.
So, Craig, our second wine is the 2015 Triton Tinta de Toro. And it looks a little darker in color than the last
It is.
one.
There's deeper concentration. These are much older vines, so these vines go up to 140 years old. And this comes from a different region called Toro, which is in the western part of Spain, just before you get to the Portuguese border.
Look at that. We're going to have a little sip here.
So you get that white pepper flavor on the finish, which keeps going and going and going.
There's a hint of like licorice.
Licorice,
in there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. When this wine opens up, if you kept this open for an hour or so, the licorice would come up. You would have a bit of violets and a hint of bitter chocolate in the finish.
Yeah. Yeah. How, is this oaked? They must oak this in.
Yes, this is aged for 6 months in French oak.
Yeah, because it had that. It's got a nice, smooth, creamy, almost like a creamy finish to it.
Exactly.
Very good, and I tell you, we've said now 2 of these reds, very, very smooth.
Yes,
You know,
I always, when we blend the grapes, and that's something that we didn't discuss earlier, but when Jorge and I go to Spain to do the blending, we always want the wines to be drinkable as soon as they're released. Many times you'll hear winemakers or wineries say, oh, you should put this down for 10 or 15 years before you can drink it. We don't want the consumer to do that. We want the consumer to be able to drink it now and also have the option of laying it down where it'll only improve.
Well, Craig, what we really want to know, give us the good news. What is the score, Robert Parker score, and the price?
The Parker scores, we were actually amazed ourselves this year. We got 94 points from Robert Parker, which is extraordinary. It's like getting an A+, and that's on 100 points rating. And the price is just under $20 a bottle at retail.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, where could you get a 94 point rated wine for $20?
Well, you could go to Bordeaux and get 94 rated wine, but you'd be paying $500 a bottle. So the choice is up to you.
That's an outstanding value, folks. Fantastic.
People know the area of Rioja. So this comes from Rioja, which is probably the most famous wine region in Spain. It's to the north central part of Spain, about 2 hours north of Madrid and about an hour south of the Atlantic Ocean.
And to think that they have to wait 5 years before they can get any return on their investment. But this is the best part. It's rated 96 points. Tell us the price.
The price, the suggested retail price would be about $75. So it's not an everyday bottle of wine, but for that time when you're having the boss coming over for dinner or want to enjoy a beautiful rack of lamb, this is the wine to go for.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it. Those people who produce this wine have to wait 5 to 6 years to get a return on their investment. Craig, this is one of the few shows I would hope that never had to end, you know? But here we are in the pergola, and we're going to try this beautiful dessert wine. Why don't you tell us a little about this? Because this is one of the most extraordinary dessert wines that I've read about.
Well, after the big reds that we were just tasting, I had to come up with something to finish on a bang. So I said, well, I'll do the Victoria. This wine comes from Malaga, which is in the southernmost part of Spain, just before you get to Africa. These grapes came to Malaga 3,000 years ago, brought there by the Venetians. So the grape variety is called Muscat de Alexandria, from Alexandria, Egypt. And this is the same, we've done DNA on these clones to make sure that they match the same clones that are in Alexandria, Egypt. So there's been 3,000 years of uninterrupted culture.
What did Robert Parker say about this?
This wine got 95 points. And it was this wine 2 years ago was the first Spanish wine ever served at a Nobel Peace Prize dinner. So it's gotten a lot of international recognition.
On this grape?
The price on this would be about $19 to $20. And it takes 7 kilos or about 15 pounds of grapes to make that one bottle of wine.
Wow. Okay. We're going to taste it.
Can I describe
that is luscious.
I should also describe how we make this wine. The grapes are harvested at full maturity, and then we take them into a barn. So they're air dried until they're raisins, and then we crush it to make the wine.
Okay, so that process is almost a little like how the Italians make Amarone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So the grapes are taken out, they're resinated, and put out on what, mats? Mats, yeah. Unbelievable. You know, you learn so much about the world through wine. And that's what was really fascinated me when I first got involved and taking my classes and studying and meeting wonderful people like Craig. And I always say this to my readers and people that I meet. You know, it's great to explore. It's great to discover, you know, these different things and different wines. I would have never had a dessert wine 4 or 5 years ago, and now they're just a great accompaniment. You have guests over, and to make them taste something different and try something different. Once again, this is a fabulous experience, and I would encourage anyone to go out there and, you know, try it. Just try it once. If you don't like it, you don't have to try it again. But I'll tell you, this would. If you're having a holiday party coming up, or even Thanksgiving or something, and you really wanted to wow the crowd, take out something like this and really make an impression. Would you agree?
I would agree wholeheartedly. And as we say in Spain, a salud.
A salud.
In just over 1 month, Massachusetts voters will weigh in on whether to expand slot machine gambling, legalize recreational marijuana, set restrictions on how farm animals are raised, and lift a cap on the number of charter schools in the state. Question 1 would allow the Massachusetts Gaming Commission to issue an additional slots gaming license. But as there are no legal gambling casinos in Lowell, this question does not affect our fair city. Question 2 asks voters whether to lift the cap on the number of charter schools in Massachusetts, which right now sits at 120. Question 3 prohibits the processing of food from farm animals if their storage conditions do not allow them to move around freely, stand, or lie down. It would also affect people selling products derived from animals that have constricted movement, even if the source is out of state. Question 4 would allow recreational use of marijuana for people over the age of 21. This has been a contentious issue, with law enforcement and health organizations opposed, and those who believe the plant is harmless and should not be criminalized in favor. In the coming weeks, LTC News and the Lowell Sun will bring you information on each of these ballot questions to help you make an informed choice on November 8. LTC News is a weekly program that airs first every Thursday and then replays daily at various times on Channel 8 and 99. I'm Al Gentili, and be well.